The desert of Kahndaq had always sung to Black Adam, an endless hymn of sand and storm, of dry winds carrying echoes of forgotten empires. Tonight that song was gone. The air itself seemed to be holding a single endless breath. No jackal howled from the rocky ridges, no hawk wheeled under the moon. Even the stars above the palace appeared dim, as though someone had laid a sheet of smoke across the heavens. Teth Adam, known to the world as Black Adam, stood on the highest balcony of his obsidian fortress. He was a figure cut from thunder, black and gold armor catching the pale shimmer of the moon, eyes lit faintly with the crackle of divine lightning. Centuries of rule had honed his senses to the movements of gods and men alike. He felt disturbance before it touched the mortal world, and what he felt now was no mere shift in the weather or a rival sorcerer flexing their will. This was older, deeper, a gravity of malice that pulled at the edges of reality. Far beyond the desert's horizon, out where mortal eyes saw only the scattered sparks of stars, something ancient stirred. A shadow older than suns unfolded itself like a predator waking from hibernation. Knull, the god of the abyss, floated through the cold emptiness of space, his pale skin and flowing black hair trailing like ink in water. Eons ago, when the first stars flickered to life, Knull had been there. He had hated the light even before he understood what hate meant. From the endless dark he had forged the all-black Necrosword, a blade born of the void itself, and with it he had carved the earliest gods from the firmament. Knull did not travel as mortals or even gods traveled. He did not ride a comet or steer a ship. He simply was moving at the speed of hunger. Entire galaxies seemed to recoil as his crimson eyes opened. He did not breathe. He did not dream. He only hunted. Above the upper atmosphere, where the sky thins to the darkness of infinity, a tear of red light opened. It was not the flare of a meteor, nor the glow of a satellite. It was an absence, a wound in the void. Black Adam's eyes narrowed. Without a word he leapt from the balcony, a streak of gold and sapphire lightning shooting toward the stratosphere. The desert exploded in a thunderclap behind him. As he climbed higher, the source revealed itself, a lone figure gliding through the emptiness without ship or flame. Cloaked in living shadow, it moved with the slow certainty of a predator. Two crimson eyes ignited in the black colder than any star. Even from miles away, Adam felt the pressure of that gaze. When Knull finally descended into the night air of Kahndaq, the desert answered with terror. Sand whirled upward in great twisting columns, forming dark spires that reached hungrily for the sky. The moon vanished behind a curtain of shadow. Entire neighborhoods fell silent as the people stumbled from their homes, whispering prayers to whatever god still listened. Knull's boots touched the ground without a sound. His voice, when it came, was not merely heard, it reverberated inside the bones of every living thing for miles. This world burns with stolen light. I have come to reclaim the silence. The words were ancient, older than the language of men, but every ear understood them. A thunderclap answered. Black Adam hovered above the plaza, framed by a corona of gold and blue. His voice rolled across the dunes like a storm breaking its chains. I have faced gods and devils. I kneel to neither. Sparks leapt across the sigil on his chest as he clenched his fists. Knull tilted his head. A faint smile curved his lips, cold and amused. Good, he said, his voice the sound of cavernous emptiness. Let the dark taste something worthy before the end. The wind came alive, roaring through the streets of Kahndaq. Sand lifted in spiraling towers, an accidental arena for a duel the stars themselves seemed to dread. Above this living amphitheater, Knull raised the all-black Necrosword, and the air split like parchment, a black shockwave blasting outward. The golden spires of Kahndaq's palace groaned and cracked. Minarets toppled in clouds of dust. Black Adam answered with lightning that split the heavens. Shazam! The word boomed like 1,000 storms, calling down a column of blue-white fire that struck Knull squarely. The blast should have leveled mountains. It barely staggered him. Adam was already in motion, a streak of living thunder, fists driving into Kahndaq's chest. The impact created a ring of compressed air that shattered windows across the capital. For a heartbeat, Adam felt the old thrill of combat, power meeting power, and his own the greater. He pressed the attack, a blur of punches and elbows that cracked the desert floor. Knull only smiled. Shadows surged like a tide, weaving into tendrils that lashed around Adam's arms and throat. They burned cold, draining the divine magic from his flesh. Adam roared and ripped free, lightning flaring so bright the night turned to day. Citizens below shielded their eyes, daring to hope their champion had turned the tide. "Your storm is loud," Knull said, his voice carrying even through the roar of thunder. "But all storms fade." Adam's eyes narrowed, then faced the storm at its height. He hurled himself upward, drawing the fury of the skies with him. Dark clouds boiled, and a bolt of pure cosmic lightning speared downward as Adam dove, riding the electric torrent. He hit like a meteor, the ground exploding in a shockwave that sent dunes racing outward like an ocean wave. For an instant Knull vanished in a vortex of sand and light. Adam stood panting, the ozone sting of his own magic sharp in his lungs. Then the laughter came, low, unhurried, terrifying. The sandstorm collapsed inward. Knull rose from the crater unscathed, the Necrosword pulsing like a heart of night. "A worthy spark," he said. "Now watch it die." The temperature dropped. Frost formed on broken stones. From every shadow poured rivers of living symbiote, black as tar and slick with malevolent will. They climbed the ruined walls, devouring stone, reaching for Adam. He struck them with lightning. They simply reformed. Knull moved faster than Adam expected, an ancient predator whose elegance belied his strength. One slash of the Necrosword ripped through Adam's conjured shield and bit deep into his side. Agony flared, a cold that smothered even the fire of his magic. Still Adam fought. He caught Knull's next swing in his bare hand, thunder exploding from the impact. With his other fist he drove a punch into Kahndaq's jaw that sent the god of darkness skidding across the dunes. Adam followed, relentless hammering blows that shook the desert. The people of Kahndaq looked up to see their champion in full wrath, lightning painting the sky gold. For a moment they believed, but belief could not unmake the void. Knull's tendrils shot upward, spearing through the sand like harpoons. They wrapped Adam's limbs, pulling him to the ground. The Necrosword flashed, severing the lightning around him. Knull stepped forward, crimson eyes burning. "You are a vessel of borrowed power," he hissed, "and I am the darkness that birthed the stars you call gods." Adam strained, every muscle and spark of magic screaming. He shouted Shazam, again calling down a cataclysm of thunder. The lightning struck, but Knull drank it in. The symbiote god absorbed the divine energy like water into dry soil, his grin widening as Adam's greatest weapon became his feast. The champion of Kahndaq faltered, knees buckling. Knull moved with terrible grace, driving the Necrosword through Adam's chest. Black ichor hissed as it met golden lightning. The sky itself dimmed, the last traces of moonlight swallowed. Adam's cry of defiance echoed across the dunes, a final roar that split the night, then faded to silence. His body crumpled, lightning guttering out like a dying star. Knull stood over the fallen champion, the desert now a sea of living shadow. The Necrosword dripped with godly essence, its black edge gleaming against the faint shimmer of distant galaxies. He looked skyward, crimson eyes reflecting the cold infinity above. "Another light," he murmured, returned to the void. The wind stilled, the people of Kahndaq cowered in their shattered city.